Talented class that came onto campus a few years back when Mike Johnson took over this job full-time. He's now in his third season at Notre Dame, and they are really starting to work their way up the pecking order here in the ACC.
They are. Johnson said he's just focusing on controlling what he can control.
Well, here we go, Caroline. Something we never thought we'd see, volleyball without a single fan in attendance tonight, but we are lucky to have it here on the ACC network. And the opening point will go to the Irish as Hannah Thompson racks up an early kill. It is unlike anything I've ever seen, Caroline. Have you ever been in a gym like this with this few spectators?
I have not, but I can already hear each team trying to create their own energy in this gym.
It's going to be a challenge for these teams to keep each other fired up throughout the night. As the Irish have an early free ball here. Zoe Nunez, junior setter, outside to the freshman Aubrey Hamilton, and the Irish have the opening 2 points. Hamilton, a player they're really excited about, had 8 kills in the Irish only game played last weekend against Louisville. It was a 3-0 sweep over the Cardinals before their second game was postponed. And now an early block. All Muth and Thompson combine, and the first 3 points go to the Irish.
That's a great way to start a match right there. You see Muth's hands all the way over the net. Thompson able to close right next to her. Great block.
So 3-0 early, and Nigo back to serve once again. Handled by Shamanova. They go outside. Syracuse looking for their first point, and they get it. It's going to be Yulia Yastrub able to pick it up for this Syracuse team. You'll hear a lot of international flavor tonight. 4 different nations represented on this team.
Tony and I really getting tested on our enunciations here.
Going to be a lot of fun pronunciations tonight. Leonard Yellen in his 9th season has assembled a really skilled Syracuse team coming off of a sweep against Pitt last weekend. As Nunez will set it to the near side for Caroline Muth, sophomore hitter, dug out by the freshman libero for Syracuse, Lauren Hogan, and then it's wide, so the Orange pick up their second consecutive point.
Something interesting to watch for in Syracuse, they're playing what some call a man-up defense. So you'll see one of their players staying up in the middle of the court up by the 10-foot line, which leaves a lot of different spots on the floor for Notre Dame to find an open space.
Here's Muth again, and a good block at the front that time. It's dropped in, and Syracuse has responded well. Orange have picked up 3 points to answer the Irish opening 3. And we're even here early on in set 1. The other thing, you see Charlie Nigo right there, Caroline, all these players wearing masks on the floor, and that is a new wrinkle. We asked Coach Mike Johnson about it. He said his team for Notre Dame has been prepared for this throughout the offseason, but you have to imagine that makes life a little bit more difficult on the floor.
It would, especially with volleyball being such an audible sport, yelling at each other, telling each other where to set, what to do. It must be hard not being able to read each other.
Muth fires one off the block of Marina Markova, and it's a point for the Irish. So the Irish stop the 3-0 run from the Orange.
We see Muth on the right side this year. Last year she was on the outside, so it'll be interesting to see her grow in that position. She did well last weekend against Louisville, and as you can see there, successful on a kill.
Hattie Munson, the freshman libero that Notre Dame's very excited about, into serve, with the Irish leading by a point. Another freshman libero, Lauren Hogan, able to dig that one out. Now Munson tracking it down towards her own bench, keeps it alive. Orange set Shamanova, and she's blocked.
Great setup again by Muth. Great positioning. And Lindsey Miller able to close right next to her.
Freshman middle blocker, 6'4" freshman, able to team up with Muth on that block that time, and it's a 2-point advantage here early on in the first. And another 3-point run. So Notre Dame picked up the first 3 points of this set. Then the Orange countered with 3 of their own, and the Irish right back on the other end, 3 in a row themselves.
Yeah, and this is against Shamanova, number 11 for Syracuse. So it'll be interesting to see what she changes in her tactics. I know we talked about her in the opening, and she'll get the job done eventually.
Shamanova, highly touted outside hitter, as Yastrub is able to drop one in for Syracuse to stem the tide, but Look at this start. Just 1 kill and 3 early errors for Stramanova. I mean, it's really an uncharacteristic start for her.
Yeah, we got to keep in mind it still is only the second weekend of play here. It's not the normal year for these players, so she's probably just still getting the dust off and getting into it.
Yula Yastru back to serve. It's handled by Nigo. They set the middle this time as Miller swings. It's dug out. Here's Shamanova. Tries to roll that one over, and Nunez goes down to pick it up. Muth now. Oh, she's denied. Good block that time by Markova. And Syracuse has answered back.
Yeah, it looks like the block on the right side. Shamanova is talking to her teammate Markova in the middle, saying we got to get Muth back for that one. That'll be a fun battle to watch tonight against them.
Markova averaged a block per set last weekend against Pittsburgh in that sweep against the Panthers. Also tallied 19 kills for the weekend. Syracuse won a 5-setter, and they also had a clean sweep of Pitt, who is the perennial powerhouse out of the ACC. They were 30-2 last year, nearly always ranked in the top 10. It's a bit of a surprise to see Syracuse come out and handle them the way they did. I think that sent a message around the rest of the ACC that this Syracuse team this year might be the real deal.
For sure.
So 7-5 here, still early in the opening set. And Caroline Muth will head back to serve for Notre Dame. Second team All-ACC last season. And on the all-freshman team, she's going to jump at this one. Oh my goodness, unleash on that, and Hogan does well to dig it out. Now this one's rolled towards the corner, but wide, and the Irish pick up the point.
I think we should get a speed gun on this serve, Tony. You're right, Muth is unleashing on this serve. That must be really hard to handle, but Hogan was able to get the first one.
Okay, let's see it again. Hogan does well to handle it once more. They set the middle this time, and it's Markova able to tally the point. It sends Shamanova back to serve for Syracuse, trailing by a couple here. And she'll jump at it. Monson digs it out nicely. Nunez puts it on a tee for Hamilton. Syracuse can counter. And the point delivered off the hands of Ella Sada. And the Orange are back within 1. Sada second on the team in kills last week. You see out of Israel, one of those 4 non-United States nations. So 5 nations represented in all when you include the U.S. on this roster. Had a good opening weekend against Pitt as Shamanova fires a service error long. And the Irish will take the ball back with a 2-point lead. Nancy Kane into the game for the first time to serve for Notre Dame. Sophomore backup setter will come in, floats it, and the libero Hogan handles it. They go outside, it's Markova. Now Nigo. Hogan got her hand on it. Oh, the Orange keep it alive. And then 4 contacts is ruled. So the Irish will take it. Caroline, I know you were a setter. Obviously, we love the setters, but the matchup I'm excited tonight about is the liberos in this one. 2 freshmen that have already put their imprints on this game.
I agree. They both had great opening weekends. And as you can see tonight, they just keep the play going. And it's noticeable to a fan who's watching when the play's going on because of the libero.
Here is Monson, the freshman for Notre Dame, and that's rolled in front of Lauren Hogan, the libero for Syracuse. You see Hogan on your screen had 4.5 digs per set last weekend, and it's going to take us to a timeout. Irish have their largest lead of the opening set, 11-7 over the Orange.
Teams have been working hard the start of this semester and as much as they could through the summer, so it's still impressive.
Yeah, both coaches raved about the way that their teams prepared in very unique circumstances, and they've earned these opportunities to play amidst what has just been an incredible spring, summer, and now into the fall. But you see Syracuse get a point back and trim the deficit down to 3. It's going to send Markova back to the service line. And she'll float one. Monson on the receiving end. He set up Muth. Markova will track it down behind the end line. Free ball coming for the Irish. See where they go here. On a slide, they set up the freshman Lindsey Miller, and she delivers.
That was a beautiful set by Nunez. And Miller, just perfect timing there. It looks like they've been doing that for years. Can't you believe she's a freshman?
Well, we talked about it last year, Caroline. Let's get it out of the way. Slide or step out? What's your preference?
Slide.
I like step out, though.
I don't know about that.
It's a West Coast thing, isn't it?
I guess so. I'll let you say it.
Okay. I'm going to say it's still allowed as the orange counter. Sada able to drop one into that soft spot on the Irish end.
We talked about Shimanova in the opening, but Sada is one to look for on the outside as well. She's just as gritty as Shimanova, and she'll make stuff happen too. That set wasn't quite where she wanted it, but she still found the open spot.
2 kills already for Sada as Hannah Thompson swings out of the middle. It's blocked, but onto the hands of Monson. Nigo then swings for Notre Dame. They set the middle where Abby Cassiano is waiting. Irish pick it up, and then Nigo. Oh, very wisely tucked into that back corner. That's one of those things you pointed out in the open, Caroline. Not always the big swing from Nigo.
Yes, she's so smart, and she has so many tools in her toolbox. She knows she doesn't have to swing or doesn't have that shot. She's going to find a way to score anyway.
Charlie Nigo, the junior, first team All-ACC last season as a sophomore. Has 3 kills already tonight. There's another response by Sada, up to 3 kills of her own.
Yeah, she snuck it through that block, found a little hole for herself.
Both teams off to pretty good hitting starts. Notre Dame hitting .333. Syracuse hitting .250. Only real blemish has been those 3 errors by Shimanova. Nunez has to bump it for Muth. Oh, she's blocked. Double block that time, set up on that far pin by Cassiano. And she had some help from Yastrub as well.
That block was perfectly set up. Muth didn't quite help herself out there by her pass, but Nunez did all she could do to give her a good ball.
At the midway point of set 1. Service there is going to send it back to Notre Dame, and the lead is re-extended to 3 here. Nigo to serve. Handled by Shimanova. Monson sends it to the far side and a little bit out of the reach of Aubrey Hamilton, and Syracuse takes advantage at the net. There was a near overpass, and there was not a whole lot that Hamilton could do.
Hamilton tried to save it there, and I would have liked to see a little bit more coverage out of Notre Dame there. I think that was a coverable ball, and Hamilton did all she could.
Hogan serving. Nigo plays it. Hamilton again. Oh, denied. And again, it's Yastrub, this time with help from Markova, able to turn her away at the summit.
Another great setup by Yastrub.
So the lead trimmed down to 1. Hamilton again, this time able to float one off a block that goes wide of the sideline. So the Irish stop the quick orange run and re-extend their lead to 2. Hamilton picked up the kill. Top 40 recruit coming into Notre Dame. The Wisconsin Gatorade Player of the Year last year in high school. One of 3 top 50 recruits in this freshman class that's ranked 10th in the country. There are reasons to be excited about this Notre Dame team going forward. Good pancake pickup that time by Nigo. Here's Shimanova, a little bit out of rhythm, but able to manage to get that one over and pick up the point for Syracuse.
There she found a way past Muth. Muth looked like she jumped just a tad bit early, so she hit the ball on the way down. If she just waits a little bit more, I think she'll have Shimanova on that ball.
So Shimanova has now equaled the amount of kills with errors, had 3 early errors, now up to 3 kills in her 7 attempts. Monson has to go down to pick it up. Nigo sets Muth, and it's rolled over. Now they set it outside to Markova. Monson tracks it down. To the back corner. Oh, diving attempt for Monson, and she couldn't get to it. That was a tough one. It looked like it possibly could have gone out, but the freshman made the choice to play it, and Syracuse has tied the opening set.
Katakasi is going to make sure that she's a threat as well when she's front row. She's going to jump set, try to hold the middle, but she'll send it over if she wants to.
Tied at 15, a race to 10 now here in the opening set. Here's Shimanova, and Syracuse has their first lead of set number 1.
That was a great swing by Shimanova. Went high hands off the block there.
And for those that might be newer to volleyball, when you're talking high hands, you're saying try to hit it so you get a deflection off the top of those fingertips, right?
Exactly, yep.
1 point lead here in the opening set. Nico on the receiving end. Ends up in the hands of Muth. She goes down the line and ties it at 16.
She beat Shimanova to the line that time. Shimanova left a little bit of line, and Muth was able to sneak that ball by.
Muth has the most swings so far for Notre Dame, 11. She was a workhorse last season for Notre Dame. And she's going to jump at this serve again, and that toss looked a little bit too far out in front of her, and she fired it into the net as a result. Oh, go ahead.
You bring up a good point of the number of swings Muth is taking. When she's taking so many swings, when she's front row or even back row, they've set her a few times, it's hard for her to get that serve down. Because when she goes back there and serves, she must be tired, and it takes a lot for that jump serve.
How much does that jump serve take out of you? I mean, it looks exhausting.
It is. It's like a full swing, a full approach and swing, as if you were swinging in the front row. So it does take a lot.
Irish able to pick up another point as Lindsey Miller on that slide, able to drop it in. And the Irish have tied it at 17 here.
Miller again successful on that slide. I think Notre Dame's offense is going to be a lot more successful if they can spread it out a little more.
She hit 385 in their opener against Louisville. Off to a great debut as a freshman. Another slide, this time it's Markova for Syracuse, and she fires it wide. Leonard Yellen immediately goes to the table, and I think he wants to use one of his challenges here.
Yeah, I was thinking there might have been a touch as well, but it's hard to tell from our angle up here.
I think he thought that there was a touch, was the first thing I saw, but it's hard to say for sure here. Yeah, he is challenging if there was a touch. Did appear as if the ball was clearly wide of the sideline on first look, but we'll see what they determine on the review. Okay, let's take a look here. You're going to see 3 Markova take the swing. Oh, you know what? That actually may have caught the line. I didn't see the touch on that angle. Looks like coming out of this break with the Irish holding on to a 1-point edge. A race to 25 here in the opening set. They come to the near side as Sada rolls it over. Now Nico is stopped, but Muth's able to dig it out. Nico this time rolls it over. Markova going for that back corner. Oh, what a finesse. Drops it in and ties the score.
She found that open spot way back in the corner there.
Looked like she was a little bit out of rhythm too, but managed to just put the perfect touch on that one. So Markova back to serve. And now she's gonna step out. We have a replacement on this serve. It's gonna be Berkeley Hayes to come in and serve. So Markova takes a seat. Hayes will come in to serve and then help in that back line. Monson on the receiving end. Right down the line, and it's another kill for the freshman Lindsey Miller.
Early on in the season, you can see that that's her strong suit, that slide set. She loves to go behind the setter, and she's just so successful back there.
Again, 6'4". Highly touted recruit, back to serve now. Tied for the team lead in kills. 3 kills on 5 swings so far. Here's Sada. It's dug out, chance to reload. Tapped over, Muth goes down. We're gonna have a double contact whistled against Syracuse, and the Irish get that coveted 2-point edge here late in the opening set.
Looked like Kaurakazi was trying to go over with it on 2. Just might have mishit it a little.
It's gonna trigger a timeout from the Orange here, as Leonard Yellen wants to talk to his team, now trailing by 2, and the Irish are 5 points from taking set number 1. You saw earlier Caroline Muth trying some of those jump serves, also has 3 kills so far today. She's been one of the most exciting players I can think of to watch Caroline since she arrived on campus last year.
I would agree. I think the most important part of her game that she's improved in is her defense. We see her staying around on the backside, and here on the front row, she's had a few great blocks. Here she sets up great against, there you go again, against number 11, Syracuse, Shimanova. There she is offensively on the right side. Like we said, that's new to her this year, so it'll be interesting to see her grow in that position. But her defensively, she's really impressed me last weekend, but especially tonight already in this game.
Well, you mentioned it too, the hitting numbers. So far, she's looked like she's taken her game to another level, at least diversifying some of the skills she's got. As the Irish have a 2-point lead here as we pick it back up in the opening set off a touch. That's gonna go in favor of Syracuse. And they get it back to a 1-point edge.
Here you see Sada again going high hands off that block. Muth not able to get her hands on it.
Sada now with 4 kills, tied with Shimanova for the team lead here in the first set. Nunez on a slide for Hannah Thompson, who uncorks one. Senior middle blocker stepped out and ripped one to take the lead back up to 2.
That was a great approach. You could see she kept that ball in front of her and just ran it down.
Nunez serving, Irish up 2. Hogan goes down to pick it up. Sada tried to tap it over. Nigo gets her hands on it, gets it back. Off a block, headed towards the net. Orange reload. Oh, it rolls across the tape and does not get over. And Notre Dame's up by 3 now. Here's Nunez to serve. Floats this one. Oh, it tickles the tape and it drops in. A service ace for Zoe Nunez.
Those are the plays that you wish you could practice, but.
You're telling me she didn't call that?
I don't know, we'll have to ask Coach Johnson on that one.
So Nunez picks up the service ace. It's the first ace for either team tonight, and now Notre Dame with a 4-point edge, 2 points from the set. Nunez again serves. Hogan again digs it out. Here's a swing. Nunez got her paws on it, but it goes out of play. Victoria Lakmanchuk is on the floor for the first time, and she tallies an early kill. Lakmanchuk had 4 kills last weekend after missing a good portion of the entire 2019 season, so it's a player they're excited to have back out of the Ukraine. Get her on the floor here in the latter portion of this opening set, and she picks up a kill, 23-20. Nunez sets up Nigo, and it's set point upcoming.
Nigo is so comfortable on that right side. We usually see her on the outside, but in this particular rotation, she's on the right side, and she has a great approach, can see that seam, and hits through that hole in the block.
Set point for Notre Dame. Here's Muth, and she puts it away. 25-20 as Caroline Muth puts the exclamation point on the opening set. 4 kills for the sophomore to go along with 4 kills from the junior Charlie Nigo, as those two lead the way in set 5. Shook hands before the match, and neither team's going to switch sides because of the possible risk of sitting on different benches and using different equipment that's on each side. So we're accustomed to seeing these teams switch after every set here, but each team's just stuck on one side of the floor for the entire match.
And for some players and coaches, that's a little superstitious. So we'll see how they deal with that.
When you played here at Purcell, was there a certain side you preferred to set on, or are they identical in your head?
They're pretty much the same, but I think the side that we start on is a little bit more comfortable. But some people think that whatever side you win on, whatever side you won on most, the 5th set you want to pick that side.
Oh.
So I played with people that are like that, or
Okay.
even played for coaches that are really superstitious.
You can see one of the other things too is Nunez is gonna pick up another ace on her serve.
Is that drop serve again? She just hits it a little bit lighter. Drops right in front of Hogan there.
Oh, second ace of the match for Nunez. The Irish lead 2-0 here. Had a 3-0 lead in the opening set. Looking for that again here in set number 2. That one's too tight to the net. Oh, but Syracuse manages to pull the point out of their hat. It's Abby Cassiano able to make good work of that at the tape, and it's their first point of set 2.
Kaurakazi's back row, and she went up for that to save the ball, and Thompson may have thought she was front row because Thompson in the middle for Notre Dame jumped with the setter, which gave a space in the block.
There is Hannah Thompson with a big, powerful swing off the hands of Hogan and out of play. And Hannah Thompson, the few swings she's had so far in this one, has looked powerful. 3 kills already.
She has, and the last one was behind the setter, so it's nice to see her do some work in front of Nunez. Great swing around the block, that cut shot. It's a pretty hard swing too. That looked good from Thompson.
3 kills and 4 tries for the senior, who's really stepped into a leadership role for this team this year. And she's performing well in the middle right now. Here's Shimanova, first swing of this second set, handled by the Irish. Muth will try to respond, and she does. 4-1 Notre Dame. They look to have picked up here in the second the way they left off the first.
This out-of-system ball. Muth tried to wait as long as she could to see where this ball was and had just enough approach to get behind it.
Pretty balanced attack right now for Notre Dame. 5 kills from each Nigo and Muth as Charlie Nigo commits the service error. And that's the second of the night for Notre Dame. Yastrub with the serve. Outside to the freshman, Aubrey Hamilton. One sent long, and Notre Dame picks up their 5th point. Hattie Monson, freshman libero, who in her first career match picked up 20 digs in just 3 sets. Nearly 7 per set for the talented freshman, was ACC Freshman of the Week. And Shimanova stopped at the tape, dug back out by Hogan. Shimanova again will swing, and she's roofed. Oh, it's Muth with support from Miller, and they deny her up front.
Shimanova worked super hard on that play. She had 3 swings right in a row. This last one, as you can see, both hands, Miller and Muth, way over the net. Just didn't give Shimanova enough room to work with.
It's been tough sledding tonight for Shimanova. 4 kills, but now 4 errors after being denied again at the net.
It's a big block to work around.
She was all region last year, led the ACC in kills, so what Notre Dame is doing right now against Shimanova is impressive. As Markova is stopped, Irish get it back. They set the middle, and another point tallied. This time it's Miller, and Leonard Yellen has seen enough. Going to use his first timeout.
Miller sneaks that by the single block, and Markova gets her hands on it, but her hands weren't quite all the way over the net, so wasn't able to be successful on that.
Irish, he is number 1 and 1 alone as the only fan allowed in the building. As Syracuse comes out of the timeout and gets a much needed point. Sada able to drop it in just inside that baseline to stop the Irish run. It was 3 points in a row before head coach Leonard Yellen used his first time out of the set, settle down his team. I've seen them struggle here in the second. 2 kills, 2 airs, so hitting 0. And Notre Dame off to a stellar start, 4 for 5, hitting 800 in the early first 10 points of this second set. Nunez sets the middle. Again, it's Miller, and again, the talented freshman middle blocker is up to the task.
Miller has great vision here, as she can see Markova just a little bit late and off to her left, so she knows she has that right angle.
Now 3 Irish hitters as Muth sends it long, but 3 Irish players have 5 kills so far in this one. Nigo, Miller, and Muth. They have spread the wealth amongst those 3.
They have. That's a great sign of a spread out offense. So props to Nunez.
How much does that make it easier for the setter when you know you can go to all 3 places on the floor?
Oh, so easy. Easy to win too. I mean, it's hard for that block to read where you're going if you have 4 or 5 different weapons.
This one goes out of play as Syracuse just struggling to get into any kind of rhythm, it seems like, here in the second. And again, the discrepancy right now in hitting percentage showing up. You can see Notre Dame at a high clip, 370. Syracuse's number is not terrible, but overall here in the second set, they're hitting 0. That 170 number is what they had in that first set, or overall, I should say. And they've hit 0 here in the second.
Coach Yellen looking to make some changes, put a new setter and a right side in. So they're definitely trying to get a different look. Lauren Woodford in there, setting number 9. Number 17, Naomi Franco, in on the right side. So it looks like Coach Yellen's trying to find some offense that'll work.
Yeah, it's surprising. Karakasi, their setter, averaged nearly 11 assists per set last week against Pitt. But you're right, trying to shake things up here in the second as things are trending in the wrong direction right now for Syracuse.
That was a great swing in the middle by Cassiano, but it looks like Notre Dame had a net call. Here's Karakazi and Yastrub coming back in. Back to their normal look.
Another slide for Miller, another point for the Irish. Man, she has impressed here in her home debut. And that time it wasn't that big swing. She found a way to finesse her way through it.
And she's so dependable. She's just such a steady player, which is great to have as an outside. You know you can go to her no matter what.
She'll take another swing this time, looking for a touch. And she's gonna get it. Notre Dame gets the point. It took a while for the officials to get that one sorted out, but they determined that it's off a touch and Nigo gets the kill.
Another great swing off of high hands here. You can see it just tips Syracuse hands on that.
So 13-5 here in the second, 8-point edge as Nigo fires again off another touch, and Nigo has her 9th kill already in the match. Well, Charlie Nigo is on fire, and the second timeout is going to be burned by Leonard Yellen. You see Nigo already approaching a double-double, not even halfway through this second set, Caroline.
We've seen Nigo grow from freshman year. She's been a staple in this program, and it's showing tonight. She's just so steady and
has used both to try to stop a run and maybe just try to settle his team down a little bit. Coming off an exceptional weekend against Pitt in their opener, where they swept the Panthers, the team you always expect to see at the top of the ACC. This does not look like the Syracuse team we saw last weekend.
It doesn't, but it's a lot different feel. They had to travel here. They're in a different gym. Last weekend they were at home. And there's just a lot of different layers of this year with COVID, and so it's going to be different for Syracuse this weekend.
Muth's going to pick up the kill this time. Extends the lead to 15-5 here in the second. You can see a 5-0 scoring run from Notre Dame. And looking to build on it and take a commanding 2-0 lead. Miller is back to serve. Karakasi. And again, Syracuse just out of rhythm right now.
Yeah, Notre Dame taking full advantage of them being a little out of sync. Great setup on the block by Nunez and great close by Thompson. You could see there both their hands were over the net. Just not enough for Syracuse to get over.
The lead's ballooned to 11, and another block is going to make it 12. Thompson may have been the first one to get there. And now the Irish are just laying it on here in the second.
That was a perfect pass, and usually a ball where you would go to a middle every time. So looks like Thompson was able to read Karakasi and where she was going with that.
Well, here in the second set, Notre Dame hitting 846. They're 11 for 13, and Syracuse is at a negative 111 after 3 kills and 5 errors. It's been a one-sided affair as this one's long, looking for a touch though, and it's overturned, and Syracuse gets a much-needed point.
That was Shimanova out of the back row. Now she's transitioning to the front row. We'll see if that gives her a little boost here.
They got to find a way to get Shimanova going if they want any chance of getting back in this one. Too talented to be hitting under 100 right now after such a great weekend against Pitt in that sweep. Here is Shimanova. And she stopped. Notre Dame's had the answer on that near side of the floor. Now Muth out of the back is blocked but out of play, and Caroline Muth tallies her 7th kill of the match.
Great example of her growing in her position. She's able to be a threat in that back row right side position there. Nunez was able to find her from the back row. She's still able to get a kill off the block.
Nunez already has 2 aces today. Floats this one over into the hands of Hogan. They set the middle, and a good swing that time by Cassiano to deliver the 7th point of the second set for the Orange.
Here's a look at Cassiano just sneaking it by the Notre Dame block here. Saw Thompson on her right, so she knew she had that cut shot left. Executed that very well.
3rd kill of the night for Cassiano. Recorded a career-high 12 in their victory on the 25th against Pitt. Came into this one hitting .533, a great hitting percentage for Cassiano. As Shimanova again fires one wide. She has just not been able to get her feet under her. And again, an uncharacteristic error from her.
It was. She was trying. She was trying to find that open spot on the court, and if that was just a couple inches more inside, she would have had it.
Nigo with a good serve. Hogan has to go down to pick it up. Shimanova again rolls this one over, and it gets through the block.
She had more feel on that ball. She had a little bit more time to get her approach in. She saw the block in front of her, had that vision, was able to keep the ball in front of her so she could see properly, and was able to have that field shot against the block there.
Still leads the team with 6 kills, but you can see her shaking her head. 5 errors this early is not what she's accustomed to, is the service error off the hands of Yastrub. We'll make it 20-8 here in the second set.
Something that she's not accustomed to, and also the team. The Syracuse team relies heavily on their outsides altogether, but especially her.
How would that affect you as a setter if all of a sudden your go-to hitter is struggling? You want to keep feeding her, or do you want to try to go away from her? How do you manage that?
It's hard with an outside because they're gonna already get a lot of balls. There was a good hustle play by Hattie there, almost had that pancake up. Great swing by Muth around the block. Karakazi again just sending it over on 2. She's really aggressive when she's front row, and she's going to send it over if she can. The outsides are so important in this Syracuse offense, and when an outside is struggling, it's really hard to keep your offense going because they're going to get balls on the out of system plays anyway. So you're going to try to have to find your middle or your right side instead.
Aubrey Hamilton was looking for a touch that time. They say her swing is too strong. So it's 20-10 now.
Looks like there may have been a touch too hard to call. Notre Dame wanted a touch, but looks like Hamilton just a little bit too far out on that.
Hamilton again, this time no doubt about it, as she pounds that one for the 21st point of set 2.
You know, they say the ball never lies, Tony.
Who says that? You say that?
That's just a saying.
I gotcha.
If you lose a point before and then you score, they say that's the ball's way of telling you the truth. So there's Hamilton on that great swing.
So you're telling me that with that swing, as Hamilton's coming down, she looked across and said, "Ball don't lie."
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
I read her lips through her mask.
Okay, through her mask.
Yeah.
That's right, I forgot. You'll notice everyone wearing masks on the floor. Just another hurdle that these athletes have had to work through as they prepared throughout the summer and into the fall. You see everyone on the bench. All the officials are masked up as well. It's a unique challenge that they've all had to face. Talked to head coach Mike Johnson from Notre Dame. He said that because they started doing it from day one, the adjustment period, there was one, but it's just so far in the rearview mirror. They do everything with the mask that they're really not thinking about it too much at this point.
Right, and these players are probably used to wearing masks in class, on campus as they walk around, so it's just part of their everyday life now. That playing in them isn't that much different.
But I know the question you asked him as Nigo picks up the kill is, how does it affect your communication? And I know it's just added a level of complexity to all the communication out there.
It has, especially when you're looking to the bench and watching your coach try to communicate with you. It helps that there's no fans in here. Maybe you could hear them a little bit better. But, you know, a lot of the times you're reading lips and it gets, you know, not as loud.
It's tougher to keep some secrets out there too, I assume, as Nigo has her 10th kill. Now Muth trying to join the party, but she fires that one off the tape, commits her 3rd error. And if nothing else, Syracuse getting back in this a little bit might be generating a little bit of momentum they can take into the 3rd.
Looks like they are. Muth, this one right into the tape. It doesn't look like it got Lockman-Schut's hands there. But still, a point, some confidence for Syracuse. They may feel a little bit better now.
They're out of timeouts here too, so they've got to play this one through to the end. Nunez taken behind the 10-foot line, has to set Muth out of the back, who taps it over, and the Orange can set. Monson will put it on a tee for Nigo. Oh, she stopped up front. Good block that time, as Yastrub was the first one to get there.
Again, another block. Another block. Great setup by Yastrub. Both blockers had a ton of time to get there, being an out-of-system ball. Looks like Nigo's reaction was, I think we could have covered that ball.
Cassiano was in on the act as well, so she and Yastrub combine, as now this serve is not handled particularly well by Notre Dame. And Syracuse back up to 14 here in the 2nd. Picking up confidence boosters along the way as we come down the stretch here in the 2nd. Nigo fields it. Now Muth, big jump from behind the 10-foot line. It's a violation. It's going to go against Notre Dame.
I don't think that ever got across the net.
Yeah,
it looks like Muth, again, just hit that tape. It's a little bit harder from the back row and the speed she's swinging at. It's hard not for the ball to just the trajectory to go down instead of a little bit straight and then down to get that over the net from the back row.
Monson plays this one, thought about letting it go, and now Nigo will roll it. Now, that was on the wrong side of the antenna. All of a sudden, Syracuse has ripped off 5 straight points here. And at the very least, has to have head coach Mike Johnson for Notre Dame thinking about, if he may, use a timeout.
We saw this last weekend from Syracuse as well. They never give up. They're going to consistently fight, even if they're down 10, more than 10. It doesn't matter to them. They're still going to fight and find a way to get back in the game.
It was an out-of-character start to this second set for the Orange, but now they're looking a lot more as advertised here in the latter portion of the set. Karakasi sets the middle. Nice pickup that time by the freshman Monson. Nigo tries to drive one through. It's dug out and reset. Lakmanchuk is picked up outside for Nigo. Big swing handled by Shimanova. She'll swing out of the back. Too strong.
That was probably the best rally we've seen all night. That was great defensive play by both teams there on some really great swings.
And it brings up set point. Miller is back to serve. Here comes the freshman. Out of the back, Shimanova. Handled by Miller. Nigo for the set, and she's done it. Charlie Nigo completes a dominant second set from Notre Dame. And with it gives them a 2-0 advantage. Nigo leads the Irish with 11 kills, but Caroline Muth's got 7, Miller's got 6, and the Irish are up 2-0. The shirts that read "Justice Across the Front." A lot of schools picking different and unique ways to try to raise awareness on the topic as you pick things back up here in the third set. And just like the other two sets, Notre Dame off to a good start.
They kind of slowed down the second half of that second set, but here Hannah Thompson successful against a single block.
Talked about Hannah Thompson, and then what does she do? Comes out, racks up an early kill.
She must have heard us.
It's great producing down in the truck by Nathan Bush and our director, Derek Coleman, as that one goes a little bit long. And it's again 2-0, and I know it's a little thing. It's only been 3-0 in each of these opening sets, but it has to wear on you a little bit, Caroline, when you come out to start every set and the opponent is jumping out to these quick leads.
Exactly, especially with a team like Syracuse coming off that second set. Honestly, I felt like they had more of the momentum than Notre Dame did. Just playing a little bit cleaner towards the end of that.
It's been an inconsistent Syracuse team tonight. They've looked like the team of last week for brief moments, but overall have just been a little bit shakier than the Irish.
Here's Shimanova finally successful on that great cut shot she has around that double block.
Shimanova just a junior, but approaching 1,000 kills already. Came into the weekend with 960, so just needs 40 as they've tied the score here, as the Irish had trouble handling that. And if they're going to get back in this one, they're going to need Shimanova in a big way, hitting just 0.48, 7 kills and 6 airs to this point in the match. Freshman libero Lauren Hogan back to serve. Aubrey Miller for Notre Dame. Kind of the freshman we've talked about a little bit less after Miller's been off to such a good start. But Aubrey Hamilton picks up a kill here, and it's her 4th.
She's such a dynamic player on the outside, as you can see how tall she is compared to Miller and Muth. They're all pretty tall in the front row. It's a great big target to have as a setter on the outside.
Here's Shimanova. That time saw the floor well and rolled it into that soft spot in the back corner.
She did. She's looking a little bit more comfortable, was able to find that open spot. Again, just being crafty, not doing too much, but finding that roll shot.
8 kills now to lead the Orange. Syracuse still just hitting 133 on the match. For comparison, Notre Dame hitting 324. But Shimanova coming on a little bit here in the third set. They set the middle this time. It's Miller, and it's dug out and then returned. And the Orange have responded well here on a 4-1 run.
It was a great swing by Miller. She saw that block in front of her, but Markova able to turn around real quick, almost taking out her setter there, find an open spot on the floor. Markova is actually on the roster as an outside. This is her first year playing middle. It's not an easy position to jump into. They have a lot of responsibilities, and she looks pretty comfortable out there in the middle.
What's the hardest part of that transition if you go from outside to middle like Markova's trying?
Oh gosh, I would say probably defensively, honestly. The block, she now has so many more responsibilities on the block. She's having to go from pin to pin. She's pretty tall. You can see she has longer legs. It may not take her as much to travel that space on the court, but offensively also, it's different timing, different relationship with your setter.
Markova, as you mentioned, listed at 6'5", so she fits that profile for a middle. As they go outside this time to Hamilton. Oh, and she's denied by guess who? Markova, who arrives in time to turn her away.
She's been doing a great job, like we mentioned, in the middle this year. Look at her able to cover all that ground and get all the way out to the pin where Karakazi was setting up that block, able to get her hands over.
Great double block put on by Syracuse. They're on a 6-1 run. Oh, make it 7-1. A service ace as Nigo couldn't pick it up. Seemed like the bottom just fell out of that serve.
It's a hard serve to return. A floater like that just dropped right in front of Nigo.
Yastrub picks up the ace, and now she's back. And again, with no fans, you can see the people firing her up are her teammates back there right now. Yastrub again drops one in. Monson, though, digs it out. And then Hamilton has the answer, and maybe more importantly, gets Yastrub off the line.
That was a huge side out there. I know it's early in the game, but like we talked about, that momentum starting to build up, especially early on in the set.
Well, it seemed like they were having trouble with that Yastrub serve. As now Muth's going to jump at it. Takes a little bit off this time and drops it in. On a slide, they go outside, and Markova is blocked, but it's wide. So gives Syracuse the point, and they're now looking like the orange we saw last week against Pitt.
Again, Markova just looking so comfortable in the middle, able to get around her setter on a slide. That ball was a little bit inside. She approached out, but she was able to hit it off the block for a kill.
4 kills now for Markova. Monson on the receiving end. They set up Miller on the slide, and Miller has 7 kills in 11 tries. Just an excellent performance so far tonight by the freshman.
I think definitely the majority of those have been slides too. She's so successful over here on the right side. Definitely has a lot of momentum, able to keep the ball in front of her so she has vision. Just great play, great set by Nunez.
Known to some as a slide, to many more as a step out. Miller has converted. And Monson, great dig by the freshman, running down towards her baseline. Free ball, though, coming for the orange. Near side they come. It's Sada, and Muth's able to track it down. Now Nigo. Markova is handled by Muth. Nunez, quick set for Nigo. Muth went down for it, couldn't pick it up.
That was pretty scrappy volleyball on both sides. Muth defensively all over the backcourt. Syracuse trying to make their shots work. Finally got a ball down.
In this set, Syracuse has turned the tables a little bit. They're hitting .444. Notre Dame under 100 at just .091. And Markova is back to serve here, looking to extend this orange lead. That Syracuse bench is a lot more engaged here in the third set now, as Markova fires it into the tape. How important do you think these benches are now? Because there's no fans. They're all you can feed off of under these circumstances.
Right. These teams are having to create their own energy, and Syracuse's gym is a little bit smaller, so you know they can probably get pretty loud in that gym, whereas in this Purcell arena, it's a little bit bigger and sound can travel. So these teams really need to make sure that they're supporting one another and creating their own energy.
Here's Nigo, and she'll get the point. Charlie Nigo has her 12th kill, and she's one dig away from a double-double.
It's a great swing by her. She just gets above the block on that. Was able to swing high, not down into the block, and sneak that through.
Sada off the hands of Miller. Nigo rolls it over. Karakasi sets the middle, gets it right back. Karakasi again. This time Shimanova out of the back. Muth's able to pick it up. Back for Nigo one more time. And Hogan's there. Karakasi this time sets Sada, and it's too strong, but they say it's off a touch. So Syracuse will get the point.
I thought I saw a touch from up here as well.
The officials were quick with that call. There was no hesitation. And we'll take another look here. I think it might have been Thompson. It looks like who they got.
Looks like Thompson's fingers. Great high swing by Sada. She saw that double block coming in. That was one of the shots that she had open. Was able to clip the fingertips of Thompson.
Great looks. Hard to tell definitively. No challenge issued by Mike Johnson for Notre Dame, so we play on here. Syracuse working on a 3-point lead. Monson does well to pick it up, but a free opportunity here for the Orange. Sada into the hands of Monson. Another good pickup by the freshman libero. Muth, and it's Hogan, the other freshman libero for Syracuse, picking it up, but then it's fired long. Well,
again,
both these freshman liberos have put on a show tonight.
Yes, and again, just very scrappy defense here on both sides. That was Monson. Here's Hogan. All over the backcourt. Both of these freshman liberos really impressive tonight.
When you have a freshman libero like that, or really just a libero that's as talented as these two are, how much confidence does that give you as a team that you know you're in every point, and they've got a chance to bail you out even when the chips may be down?
Right, even when you're facing great offense, which I would say both of these teams have a really strong offensive play, you know that you'll be in the play. You'll know that you'll be able to get these defensive balls up for then your offense to act.
This swing comes from Yastrub, and she delivers the 11th point of this third set. Syracuse keeping Notre Dame at an arm's length right now.
Here's another look at it. Muth just a little bit late. She stayed in a little too long and set that block up just too much inside, so Yastrub was able to get that on the line.
Nunez sets the middle for Thompson, and it's wide. So it's 12-8 now. Syracuse has found something here in the third set. Sada into the hands of Monson. Now Nigo, and that one's wide as well. Syracuse figuring things out here in the third.
We'll take another look at that. Nigo stayed deep, so she was able to wait for that ball. I think just over the hands of Syracuse.
So it's a 5-point edge now. Monson sets it up for Nigo, and then the Irish are finally able to stop the run.
It's another great example of maturity for Nigo, just able to make that game time adjustment right there. Found the hole on that block. Nunez was able to hold that middle just a little bit longer, and Nigo comes up successful.
13 kills now for Charlie Nigo to lead the team. Karakasi back set this time for Yastrub, and she's able to get it inside the end line.
What makes Yastrub so successful, she keeps going for that deep shot, that end line shot. And she's not worried about hitting down into the block.
Nunez sets the middle for Thompson, picked up by Karakasi. Shimanova. Now Hamilton stopped, but she picks it back up. Muth this time unleashes, and it's long. Irish begging for a touch. And they're not going to get it. Takes us to a timeout. Notre Dame trailing Syracuse as the Orange lead by 6 here in the third.
That shot, I thought that was down. Nigo comes out of nowhere, lays out for this ball. Happens to go over the net and falls in an open spot.
And it immediately triggers a timeout from Leonard Yellen. I mean, that is, as you said, maybe not quite as they drew it up, but Nigo with great reactions to get to it. And then just the way it caromed onto the other side of the floor is what allowed the Irish to pick up the point. And now that's 3 in a row out of the timeout. So Notre Dame all of a sudden feels like they're right back in this third. This, of course, is the second game of the season for Notre Dame, the third game of the year for Syracuse. It's a unique schedule that they're playing. It's very compressed. You can see just 5 to 6 weeks to get all these games in. It's only going to be 8 games over these 5 weeks that started last weekend with their openers. And you see they've split the 15 teams in the conference into 3 regions. And we're looking at Region 1 on the left side of your screen right now, Notre Dame and Syracuse. And you can see how they finished in 2019. All were really right in the top half. So it's easily the strongest pot, at least based on how they performed last year.
This is the best competition that we're going to see in the ACC, and I enjoyed both of the coaches' responses this week. They both talked about how if they were to play games this fall, they wanted competitive games. And so Coach Yellen from Syracuse kind of went on to say that he didn't know if these games were necessarily going to count, and so they were happy to have this competition.
Yeah.
Now he doesn't know how to feel about it, but I still think it's great experience for these teams. They're able to play some games, and it's great volleyball.
How much do you think it affected them to not have the traditional non-conference month or so to kind of get ready for ACC? Because they just jumped right in. You see Syracuse last week. I mean, it clearly didn't affect them. They beat Pitt, but it may have affected Pitt. They weren't quite ready to go against Syracuse, it seemed like.
Right. I think every first couple weekends we always see pretty ugly volleyball in these preseason tournaments. But honestly, I thought last weekend overall in the ACC it was pretty clean, and I don't know if that's just they had a little bit more time to work out some kinks within their squads in practice, and I know that they had probably inter-squad scrimmages and all of that to get the dust off, but you're right, it's tough jumping into conference.
I have to say, credit to both these teams tonight. This has looked like mid-season volleyball between Syracuse and Notre Dame.
It has, for sure. It looks like normal conference play, normal business as usual, and that's props to how the coaches are relaying their messages to these student athletes and how confident they are and how dedicated they are to the programs. But this really goes to the coaches on preparing their teams for this.
16-13 now. Syracuse up by 3 after leading by as many as 6 here. Miller drops it over. Syracuse is there. Shamanova rolls it into the hands of Hamilton. Now it's Muth. Off a touch, and then it goes out of play. So Notre Dame slowly but surely working their way back into this third set.
Here's a look at Muth's swing. She didn't have quite the approach that she wanted to, but she was able to get her feet under and at least take a high swing and not a low swing into the blocks. That was a great heads-up play by Muth.
Now Muth will serve. Big jump into the hands of Hogan. Well done by the freshman libero to handle it, and then Karakasi able to tap it over.
Again, Karakasi's just so active in the front row, and when she's not sending it over, you'll see sometimes she'll do this jump set to at least keep the middle blocker on her, but here she takes it over herself, hits a little bit of the net, but still rows over for a point.
You can see she caught the Irish napping a little bit. That spot in the middle of the floor wide open, and she dropped it home. Nunez sets up Hamilton. Karakasi goes for it again, and this time Monson's able to dig it out. Now Muth, big rip, goes off the hands and back onto the side of Notre Dame. Chance to reload. It's Hamilton off a touch, and again the Orange keep it alive, but now a whistle. And I believe they called double contact.
Yeah, it was a double contact on I think it was, I don't know, did you see who that was, Tony?
No, didn't see. But it was against Syracuse, tell you that much.
I think it was Shamanova, but.
Either way, it results in 2 points. Or beg your pardon, it's now a 2-point advantage for Syracuse as Kane's on the floor to serve for Notre Dame. Out of the back, this is Yastrub, and she's able to tally a point for the Orange.
It's a great back row attack by Yastrub. Good block setup by Notre Dame, but just not quite able to get all their hands on it.
Markova goes off. Berkeley Hayes will come on to serve for Notre Dame here. Beg your pardon, for Syracuse. Nunez goes outside to Nigo. Hayes able to pick it up. Set the middle this time, and Nunez, quick hands, able to get there. Nigo off a touch. Shamanova tracks it down along the end line. Here's Lockmanchuk. Nancy Kane is there to handle it. Now Muth tries a swing. Karakasi dumps it over, and she collects the point for the Orange. A resilient point for Syracuse.
Karakasi looking, you see her look to her right to check her blocker. She saw Nigo there, but knew she had a little bit of a hole. You'll see her head turn right there to look at Nigo and sees that there's no middle by her, so she just takes it herself.
So Syracuse, after having their lead trimmed down to 2, has managed to re-extend it to 4 here, and some more breathing room after Mike Johnson, the head coach for Notre Dame, has taken a timeout. And he wants to talk to his team here in the latter portions of this.
So she has a little bit more space to work behind.
We also saw the 3 blocks as Miller, right out of that timeout, comes away with another point off the slide.
Definitely a go-to in that rotation for Nunez. Again, Miller looking so comfortable in the middle.
So now Miller's back to serve. Also, I think the 3 digs from her pretty impressive as well. See the middle getting in the act, hitting the floor a little bit.
Yeah, it's good to see her out there serving as a freshman. That's big time, and then able to step in to be back row for a rotation.
Lockmanchuk takes a swing, and Nancy Kane's able to handle it. Nigo now able to fire. Shamanova got her hands on it. Free ball coming for the Irish. Oh, Nunez waited all match to finally drop that one into the soft spot.
Nunez is going to use her hitters as much as she can, but she's not afraid to send it over on 2 as well. You see Hannah Thompson in the middle, stays in front of her, so Nunez knows that she's got to be the threat on that right side. She sees her blockers are down, so she snuck one over.
Miller still serving here. Muth can't get to it, just out of her reach, and Syracuse stops the mini run from the Irish and makes it 20-17 here in the 3rd. Sends Karakasi back to the service line. Syracuse 5 points from extending the match. Nunez sets up Thompson. It's tapped back over and a chance to reload. Nigo off a pass from Nancy Kane, dug out by Hogan. Lockmanchuk delivers.
It's a great dig by Hogan there. Great swing by Lockmanchuk. She sees she has a little bit of a hole and a little bit of a line from Nunez being up blocking. She takes advantage of that.
Second kill of the match for Lockmanchuk comes at a big time for Syracuse. They set Nigo this time. Her swing is handled by Hogan. Lockmanchuk again taps it over. Nigo goes down and picks it up. Muth will swing from behind the line. It's tapped over and the Irish will reset. Thompson looking for that corner, handled by Shamanova. And then down the line, a huge point as Yastrub delivers, and it's 3 in a row for Syracuse.
Huge point there for Yastrub. You can see the bench getting a little bit more into it, a little bit more excitement. This is exactly the excitement Coach Yellen was talking about, carrying over from last weekend against Pitt.
Hannah Thompson has gone out. Now Sammy Lockwood has come onto the floor for the first time. Sophomore middle blocker for Notre Dame. Nunez on a slide for Lockwood. And it's picked up by Shamanova. Lockwood then threw her hands at it, tapped it out of play, and Syracuse has ripped off 4 in a row here, and they're 2 points from the third. And it's going to be a timeout from Mike Johnson. Wants to slow down this Syracuse freight train here in the third.
Special for the international girls.
Well, Marina Markova at the top of the graphic there has found a way to chip in today out of St. Petersburg, Russia, and she's got 4 kills, has also had a couple timely blocks as well.
She has. She's a huge presence there in the middle. And like we mentioned earlier, this position is new to her. She's even on the roster as an outside. This year is her first year as middle. But you can see she just feels comfortable in that position. Here's her on a slide, gives herself enough time, able to tool the block on this one. She's been very impressive to watch out of the middle, and just a huge, not only tall, but just the way she plays, also a huge presence in the middle.
Saw 4 kills, 4 blocks for Markova. Both teams back on the floor here out of the timeout. Syracuse 2 points from forcing a 4th set, but not so fast as Notre Dame picks up a point out of the timeout. And it'll send Zoe Nunez back to the line after Charlie Nigo picks up her 15th kill of the match.
It's another big point of a timeout. Last timeout, Notre Dame came back and won the point as well. That just goes to show how coachable they are and how they can make game time adjustments.
Lockmanchuk tapped one over. Muth got to it. They set up Nigo, who takes a rip, and Hogan again is there to handle it. And this one from Lockmanchuk is just wide of the sideline, and it's 2 in a row for Notre Dame. Lauren Hogan has been working hard, the libero for Syracuse. Already 19 digs here in the third set. Averaged 4.5 per set last week against Pitt. Well above that average here today. Karakasi sets it back for Lockmanchuk, and she delivers.
Great swing by Lockmanchuk. She is so lengthy on the right side, and the way she approaches to the ball is pretty hard to set up a block on her.
So 5 chances here at set point for Syracuse. Lockmanchuk serves. Here's Muth off a touch, and Notre Dame staves off 1 set point.
I love the way Muth is just swinging no matter what. You know, you wouldn't have known that was game point because she's giving it her all on every point. She knows she's not going to win with a tip, so she's swinging high hands, and that was just a very mature swing by her.
Gets her into double figures in kills with 10, now to join Nigo, who's back to serve, who has 15. Here's Shamanova for the set. Oh, it goes off the chest of Nigo, and for the second time, she seemed to have managed to get away with it, but now they'll give the point to Syracuse.
There's another look at that. I think that may have been a net call either on Muth or Lockwood, whoever was up, either of them that were up for the block.
So it's a net violation that ends the set in favor of Syracuse. They've battled back, and Notre Dame will take a 2-1 lead into the fourth.
That was a great serve by Zoe. She's been going short in the past couple serving rounds that she's had, and so this one she sends deep right on the seam, catches that back line.
Notre Dame's gotten off to quick starts in every set here. As Yastrub sends it back, Monson with a great hustle dig to keep it alive. Irish survived the point for now. It's Shamanova, and it's out, and Syracuse has tied the score. We'll
look again at this dig by Hattie Monson. laying out to get that ball over. Coach Mike Johnson had to get out of his seat so his players could play that ball.
Well, Monson has just been flying all over the floor. That was her 9th dig, but she's a very highly touted top 50 recruit at libero for Notre Dame. The freshman has been exciting to watch so far in the first couple of weeks of this season. And Syracuse has a 2-1 lead, but Monson doing her best to put on a show as libero.
She is all over the floor, and what's good to see is that she's always in the right spot. She may not handle it correctly or get the ball up, but she's always there and always making an effort.
Here's her counterpart on the other side, Lauren Hogan. Freshman libero has looked good tonight as well. Has 19 digs, as this one's converted by Notre Dame, and the Irish have tied it at 2.
It was a great swing by Muth. On this rotation, she's on the outside where we saw her last year. It's looking like business as usual out there. Great swing down the line, a lot of space.
Karakasi sets up Shimanova. Now Muth, oh, she is blocked. Shimanova and Markova combined to deny Caroline Muth.
What a block. What a block setup. Shimanova gets her positioning right, doesn't go too far outside of where Muth is. You can see her stutter step a little bit. Markova gets her hands over. Huge block.
Muth again, this time gets it over the block, but Syracuse can reload. Shimanova didn't get all of it. Nigo out of the back, big swing, and it's wide off the return to tie it at 3.
Like we mentioned earlier, it's just such an advantage to be able to have your front row players stay and play back row. Great set by Nunez, leading Nigo into this back row attack. Able to get a good swing on it for a kill.
16 kills now for Nigo. Karakasi sets the middle. Markova a little bit out of rhythm. Irish able to keep it alive. Karakasi this time will try Shimanova. Oh, and look at that vision. Able to sneak that one past the freshman Aubrey Hamilton, who was maybe cheating a step the other direction.
That's her favorite shot if I've seen it correctly in the past 2 weekends. Shimanova loves to sneak that ball past this off blocker that's supposed to be covering the tip. Usually they cheat inside, as we saw Hamilton on the outside do.
You're right, 3 or 4 times tonight she's gone that route and has been successful. Good dig by Monson off the serve. Shimanova, though, returns the favor. And then Markova got it. Oh, Notre Dame, though, batted it off the net and kept the point alive. Good hustle from the Irish as we keep playing. Hamilton uncorks one, and Hogan digs it out. Sada into the hands of Nigo. Nunez down the middle. Oh, Miller's denied. Irish get it back. We keep playing. Hogan has to put it up for Sada, and she's blocked. Muth and Miller able to finish off the point for Notre Dame.
Another great rally. Both teams really in there defensively. A couple great covers. Here's Sada just a little bit under the ball there. You see her fall back as she comes down to the ground. Great block by Notre Dame. Hands all the way over the net.
We're only 8 points into this 4th set, Caroline, but this has been the best 8 points I've seen tonight. These two teams are now throwing haymakers at each other as Muth commits the service error. Been a pretty clean game from the service line for both teams, just 5 errors apiece. As Markova will send it over. Nigo's right there. Nunez tries to drop it in, and she converts. Second time Zoe Nunez has pulled that trick out of the bag.
She's so smart when she chooses to attack here. You see that Miller goes behind her on a slide, and so Nunez knows that that blocker's going to go with her. And the middle for Syracuse, Cassiano just wasn't quite ready for Nunez to pop that over.
Nancy Kane will head back to serve for Notre Dame. Handled by Yastrub. Lockmanchuk gives Syracuse the 1-point edge.
That was a great shot by Lakmanchuk. That is such a hard swing, that cut swing all the way over to left back. Just a little too much for Kane.
One-point lead for Syracuse. Nego. Oh, again, Hogan has been all over the place for Syracuse. Nego finally able to pick up the kill and tie it at 6.
Here's another look at this dig from Hogan, just laying out, getting at least an arm on it. Lakmanchuk sends it over, and then on the other side, Monson able to get that dig up for a kill by Nego.
Talked a lot about Monson tonight, rightfully so. She's played very well, but she might be being outdone right now by Hogan, who's got 22 digs already, and we're only a few points into this 4th set.
The Liberos definitely have a competition of their own this game. They are both all over the place, but Hogan taking the cake when it comes to numbers.
They're going to battle for a few years here going forward, both freshmen. They'll see each other annually for a while. Orange able to grab the lead here as Lakmanchuk has really been asserting herself here the last couple of sets. Now she's up to 6 kills on the match. See Caroline Muth working on a wet spot on the floor. Has it sorted out. And Elisada is back to serve. Nego handles it, sets for Thompson in the middle. Karakasi's there. Sada out of the back, drops it over. Nancy Kane digs it out. Muth ties the score.
Great swing for Muth from the back row, and again, just such an advantage to have her back row. And that play, that was the only option Nunez had. Nego wasn't able to get off the net, and it was a little bit too far of a ball for Thompson to get the ball in the middle. Great swing by Muth.
Tied at 7 here. Shimanova rolls it off a block. Irish track it down. Nego goes for a big swing, and she does it. Charlie Nego up to 18 kills for Notre Dame.
That was a great swing by Nego. She was able to get her body around that ball so she could cut it over to left back. Great swing.
Now Syracuse is going to have to sort out a wet spot on their side of the floor, as the Irish have taken a 1-point lead here in the 4th. These two teams are back at it tomorrow. It's going to be a 6 o'clock start tomorrow. You see the compressed schedule. Teams trying to play a lot of back-to-backs to limit the amount of travel and the amount of time they have to stay in opposing cities. So it'll be a quick turnaround tomorrow. And if it's anything like this set, it's going to be a fun 24 hours of volleyball here. Nego fires one that is handled by Shimanova. Nego will try again. Now Muth takes a crack. Shimanova, went for it again. This time though, did not get it over the tape, tried to cut it across the floor and couldn't convert.
That's her shot right there, right along the net. Looked like Nego would have been ready for it. She wasn't cheating in, has made that adjustment. But again, she's gonna keep going there on out-of-system balls.
And Nego makes it 10-7 Notre Dame with her 19th kill, and now it's the largest lead for either team here in the 4th set. Nunez back to serve. Has all 3 of Notre Dame's service aces today. Karakasi sets the middle. And Syracuse able to pick up a much needed point to stop the 4-0 Notre Dame run. It's Cassiano that gets the kill. And then a quick word from her coach, Leonard Yellen, as she heads to the sideline. Here's Hogan working on a 22 dig performance. The freshman who had 36 digs in 2 matches last week against Pitt. More than halfway past that so far today. Muth picks up kill number 13.
Muth was able to take a full approach there. You see Nunez leads her with that set. She has all of her momentum in front of her.
You know, the
Great swing.
biggest disappointment about the masks is that we can't see the traditional Caroline Muth reactions after the point. We're only seeing half of her face when she's fired up.
At least we can hear it.
That was one of your favorite things last year, as Nigo does well to keep this point alive. Muth now will swing and convert. Oh, a huge point for Notre Dame.
Great dig here by Nigo, able to keep the play going. She saves that with one arm behind her. Great set by Nunez, again leading Muth into this ball. She sees that she has a spot down line. Slides it right by the block. On the right side of Hogan too.
Syracuse has called their first timeout as Notre Dame has extended their lead to 4. Here are the defended by, but
it's funny because I feel like I could probably answer those questions for you.
One game at a time.
Yeah, just knowing the way Mike is and how his gym is run. But always a good time.
In his 3rd full season as the head coach here for Notre Dame, has his team up 4 in the 4th against Syracuse. Looked like world beaters last week against Pitt. Notre Dame has found some answers against them today, although Syracuse bounced back with a really good 3rd set. Notre Dame's looking for a touch here, but to no avail. Syracuse is going to get the point. Oh.
Looks like Karakasi may have tipped that ball there. And I like to look at the players' reactions. You know, usually if Hamilton comes down and knows she got a touch, she knows she got a touch because she was trying to get that, trying to go off that ball here. So she looks pretty confident in what she's calling here.
Well, it's just so tough. You can see it. That's great work in the replay room. It's just tough to see. It looks like it might have hit her hand. Yeah. Here's a look at that net cam, which always gives you an idea. Again, sometimes so difficult to tell. I don't know how they get it right in real time, but they've overturned this and given Notre Dame the point. That's a big swing. It was going to be back down to a 3-point set. Now Notre Dame's got a 5-point edge.
That's when you're thankful for the challenge system right there, is when you get a point like that. That's a big point.
Monson now serving. Here's Muth, takes a whack. Now out of the back, it's Sada. That's a big point for Syracuse, you figure. After that one was overturned, had to get something going in their direction.
It's a great swing from Sada out of the back row here. You can see she has plenty of room in front of her to work. Even against a triple block, she finds around that block, gets a kill.
Muth takes a swing. Oh, good hustle by the orange. Karakasi got a piece. And then Yastrub kept it alive. Forced the Irish to reload, and this time they deliver. Lindsey Miller picks up the kill. For the freshman, it's her 9th of the match.
That was an awesome transition play. Nunez able to get Miller the ball in transition. It's always so important to find your middles, not on the first ball, meaning in transition. So that was a great set there by Nunez.
Stuff in the stat sheet, you saw it there, 9 kills. Also 4 blocks, 3 digs, has not made an error, hitting .643 on the match. And Lauren Wenzel's in the game for the first time. Junior middle on the floor and getting some action here in the fourth. Free ball coming for the Orange. Karakasi on a slide this time for Markova, who steps out and is able to pick up the 11th point of the set.
That might have been Markova's one of her best swings this match. She really got her whole hand on the ball there. Again, she looks comfortable with that slide approach and able to just hit it right down line in front of Nigo.
Shimanova has 12 kills to lead them, and now Markova, Sada, and also Yastrub, all tied for second with 7 kills, have chipped in. But an error will send it back to Notre Dame with a 5-point edge. And time now starting to run out a little bit for Syracuse. We've got to find a way to dig into this lead and in a hurry, as Notre Dame is just 9 points from wrapping this one up. Kane will serve, handled by Yastrub. Near side they come, and it's too strong off the hands of Sada.
Sada really going for that line shot there, giving it her all, just a little bit too deep on that. But she saw the black, saw that that was an opening, went for it.
Nancy Kane back to serve again. Irish up 6 here in the fourth set. That's too strong. It's going to be the 6th service error of the match for Notre Dame. That matches Syracuse's number of 6. Irish have 3 aces. Orange have 2 aces, so pretty even on the service line so far tonight. Karakasi serves for Nigo. They go back to the freshman Miller, and she's got another one. Up to double-figure kills with her 10th.
That was a great swing by Miller, and a swing right into the middle of commotion. You see Karakasi playing this man-up defense, put her hands up, made it impossible for the other back row players to get a touch on it.
Lockmanchuk registers her 7th kill, so now 4 members of the Orange have 7 kills. She's had a really clean sheet too, just 1 error actually leading the team, hitting .316.
Lockmanchuk looks really, really composed out there. She's been taking really smart swings, not trying anything too risky, but also not playing too safe.
5-point edge right now as Muth sends it too long. So back-to-back points for the Orange. They need to tack together a few more here to cut deeper into this Irish lead in the fourth. Nigo has trouble with the serve. Nunez has to track it down, and Muth just barely gets there to get it over the tape. Lockmanchuk again. 3 in a row for Syracuse, and Mike Johnson is off the bench to call time.
Yeah, great swing here. Nigo leaves a little bit line. She tries to reach down, but leaves that spot above her hands. And this is the same rotation that Notre Dame got stuck in last time, this 6th rotation.
Well, you can see right here, this was coming in to tonight's contest. And
Kazi just to keep giving her hitters and separating her offense, but giving her hitters good balls.
Out of the timeout, we resume. Nigo blocked, but Monson's right there. Muth has to jump from behind the 10-foot line, and somehow Notre Dame gets that ball up in a spot where Nigo can swing at it. Shimanova missed it long. Just has not been as sharp as we're accustomed to seeing.
That was the first time I saw her body language after a hit. She kind of threw her head back and was wishing that one in. But for the most part, she stayed really composed this game, and it shows how much her team looks to her as a steady hitter.
That was her 9th error. Just not what you expect. She responds nicely here, hitting one through the block for her 13th kill, and that was her 39th swing of the night. Great
swing off the inside of the block, off Thompson's hands. Yeah, she's definitely not letting her airs get to her tonight. She's trying to work through it and get her momentum back.
Here's Charlie Nigo with her 53rd swing of the match. Now Shamanova, tucked it into that back corner. And Syracuse slowly but surely making this fourth set interesting.
Shamanova again out of system, just having that vision, knowing that Monson is towards the center of the court, so that deep corner is going to be open for that roll shot.
That's really a lot like the shot you highlighted in the top of the broadcast. As you mentioned, out of system, everything's not perfect, but she found a way to put it in the spot where the defense was not covering.
She does, and that's what makes her so good. Again, she just stays super composed in those moments, and she's not all over the place. She gets her feet to the ball and makes it happen.
So Hogan serves for Syracuse, trailing by 2, and Hannah Thompson has a big response for Notre Dame. Makes it 20-17. You see the 5 kills and 3 blocks for Thompson. Has been steady in the middle tonight. Oh, and Thompson commits the net violation. Her back made contact with the net. Or maybe it was double contact, beg your pardon.
It's always hard for a middle to come off the net here. Off a block on a quick tip and turn around and set this ball. It's just a little bit too low for her, so it looks like a double and maybe also a lift too, but that's a difficult play.
So Thompson just cut out of sorts there. Makes it a 2-point set again. Muth is blocked, but Nigo, good reaction, gets down to it and keeps it alive. Now Hamilton swings. Shamanova, though, keeps it up, and a free ball coming for the Irish. Caroline Muth puts one away.
That rally was an example of just how important a cover can be. Notre Dame's able to cover this ball. They get a free ball back. Great swing by Muth right over the top of that outside blocker.
Yeah, you're right. It was Nigo who was able to get that one a few swings back. Could have been a 1-point set. Instead, Notre Dame extends to a 3-point edge, and now just 4 points from the set. Oh, and a timeout reluctantly called by Leonard Yellen. Took his time to talk with the officials and then decided to exercise. Most nights is Charlie Nigo, who's leading the Irish tonight with 19 kills on 53 swings. She has been a workhorse for the Irish tonight.
She has. She's definitely gotten her fair share of swings here on these first 2 replays are out of system, so you got to go to the outside. Here, great cut shot. Again, she's getting her body around. She really gets her feet to the ball well, so whatever shot she needs to take, she sets herself up to take that shot.
Well, you featured her in the open. Look at that with the 10 digs as well. And she's had the whole bag of tricks on display. She had a 20-20 game last season. She's close to it so far this year. It was the first time that anybody at Notre Dame had done it in 10 years. As Muth and Miller combined for the block out of the timeout.
Another look at that. Timing great between Muth and Miller, both up in the air at the same time. Arms pressed over early. Just a great block by both of them.
Oh, and then Monson with a great serve. Syracuse can't handle it, and it's 2 Irish points out of the timeout, and now they're 2 away from the set and the match.
We've talked about Monson's ability to play defense, but her serve is really good. She has this float serve that moves a lot. She has a little bit of a jump. She can place it anywhere she wants to, and she's been successful in these 2 games so far.
Markova delivers a crucial kill on the slide as it gets a point for Syracuse, and as you alluded to, gets Monson off the service line. And now, go ahead.
It's important for Syracuse to keep siding out early and often. They want to stay in this game.
Now they got to rattle off a few points on their service end. Shamanova will serve. Nunez sets the middle, and it's Miller. Once again, the freshman has now 11 kills in just her second career game. It's gonna bring up match point. Lauren Wenzel's on to serve here for the Irish, looking to take this opener in this two-game series against Syracuse. Lockmanchuk swings, and a whistle and a violation. It's going to go against Notre Dame. Syracuse picks up another point. They stave off one match point for now. Marina Markova back to serve for Syracuse. They got to win 4 in a row here. And she'll roll it over. Nunez back for Miller. The freshman tried to win it, couldn't do so. Lockmanchuk able to win another point to stave off match point against the Irish.
Lockmanchuk able to sneak this ball by a kind of a late block here, as you see Miller getting back from her slide. Lockmanchuk not even really on balance on the swing, but she's able to sneak it through.
Match point number 3 for Notre Dame. Nunez back for Miller, out of rhythm, tapped over and a chance to reload. It's Hamilton this time. Monson tracks it down. Nunez up again for Hamilton, and the freshman, Aubrey Hamilton, has finished it off, and Notre Dame will win this one in 4 sets and improve to 2-0 on the season.
Another look at this great set by Nunez, leading Hamilton into this ball.
So Hamilton picks up the final tally. For Syracuse, it's their first loss after an excellent start to the season against Pitt. They'll look to regroup tomorrow, but Notre Dame so far, they've played 2 matches, Caroline. They swept Louisville. Now they beat what appears to be a very good Syracuse team in 4 sets. They looked pretty darn good throughout the entire match tonight.
They did. It'll be interesting to see the turnaround.